Hey guys, so in this video I want to go over something that a lot of people bring up in class and just in general, a lot of clients, they tend to report that they have a lot of elbow pain, especially in this area, after they start doing a lifting program pretty consistently. But typically this comes up when they don't do certain types of stretches. So just basic anatomy of the forearm, you have your extensor muscles. These are muscles that essentially do this with your wrist and your fingers. And then your flexors, your forearm flexors, these muscles all do this movement and then the gripping, okay? So when we talk about grip strength, it actually has nothing, very little to do with any muscles in the hand. It's tendons that are connected to muscles in your forearm. Now with the elbow pain that's typically reported is because of excessive gripping. Okay, because pretty much everything we do in the gym, we're grabbing a hold of something most of the time. Holding a weight, holding a band, holding a TRX, holding a bar, holding a kettlebell, whatever. So we do all this excessive gripping, but what that does is it causes overuse sometimes of the forearm flexor muscles. All of these muscles, I can't remember exactly, but there's about 6 or 7 of them in this portion of the arm that attach to the fingers and do all those movements we talked about. They all attach to what's called the medial epicondyle, which is right here. So all of those muscles are attaching to the same point, and all those tendons are attaching to your fingers, and those get inflamed because of overuse syndromes. They're just using it and using it and using it, not stretching it, and they get inflammation, swelling, and they get agitated at their connection, their insertion and origin points or connecting points on the body. So what we want to do is we want to massage and stretch these muscles because it's something we don't really do a whole lot. So unless you take my classes, you know sometimes we stretch these muscles. So I'm going to show you a couple things for how to do that. One, buying a lacrosse ball. You can get these on Amazon. These are from Wad Fitters. We have no affiliation with them, but that's where I bought these from. You can also buy them from a brand called Neat Athlete, N-E-A-T Athlete. And they're relatively affordable. So get them on Amazon, buy yourself a couple of these for at home. They're a very firm ball. It's like almost a lacrosse ball with a very small amount of give. And then what you're gonna do with this is you're gonna find a hard surface like a table, an end table, a countertop, the floor, and what you want to do is you want to take this ball right onto that medial epicondyle. That's the inside bony landmark of your elbow, okay, where these muscles attach. And then what we want to do is take this ball and slowly roll it like a deep tissue massage, inch by inch, along the entire forearm, all the way down to the wrist, and at different parts of the forearm up to this connecting point, okay? But we're not just going to do it with our hand like this because that wouldn't be nearly as effective. So what I want you to do is I want you to plant the ball on the table or the surface you're using on that medial epicondyle, turn the hand over, and face the palm towards the table. If you have tension in these muscles, this will probably already create a sense of discomfort, okay? This technique is part of something we call myofascial release, muscle and fascial tissue relieving the tension in there. Okay, so from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly, using other muscles, pull this into the ball. I want to apply pressure, and then I'm going to drag my arm slowly. You don't want to do this really fast. Slow, slow, slow. Breathing while you do it, okay? And you'll notice my grip is going to actually start to contract here as I do this properly. If you do this properly, you'll notice your grip is going to start to contract as we tighten those muscles, because we're basically kind of mimicking a muscle contraction here. But we are going to be stretching it out in the process. And then I'm going to move back, still applying downward pressure into the ball. And myofascial release is not usually comfortable, though later you'll feel the relief almost immediately if you do have tension, too much tension built up in the muscle and fascial tissue. You're probably going to have to reset. You may want to start at the wrist and then roll forward that way and roll to that bony landmark that we talked about. I ran out of surface here. And you're just gonna basically roll back and forth along different parts of your forearm, the inside part of your forearm, until you start to feel those muscles have gotten substantial blood flow, they've been stretched out, and a lot of clients report that after doing this for just a few moments, a few laps back and forth, they've already noticed relieved tension or a feeling of discomfort in their elbow joint. Now, that may not be the only cause of your elbow pain, but it's a common one. So this isn't a diagnosis, but that is something that you can do. Now, Second, other than doing that, is that we can do the stretch that we often do in class. So what I want you to do is get on your knees, and then you're gonna lightly apply pressure. You're gonna take your palms facing away from you, and you're going to put those on the ground. Let me make sure I get this in the frame. You're gonna put those on the ground, okay? From here, depending on how tight you are, this might be a stretch enough. Now, if it's not, what you need to do is slowly, you need to sit your weight back, okay? Even just a couple degrees. I just shifted that a couple degrees, and I'm already feeling a lot more tension in those muscles in the forearms. Now, I've noticed that I use my left hand a lot more, and so I've created more mobility and strength and resiliency in these muscle groups. My right hand does tend to get more tense. So in this same position, my left hand doesn't feel nearly as much tension as my right. So I know I need to do more myofascial release on my right side than my left. And so this is a great stretch. Then what you can do is shake it out, reapply, and then big inhale, exhale, and sit back slowly. Make sure that that feels okay. And that is a great way to relieve a lot of the inflammation and tension in those forearm flexor muscles, those two specific drills. Now, for some reason, if you do feel like you need to stretch these extensor muscles as well, you can do the same technique while rolling that ball along the extensors. And also this stretch, you would take your hands knuckle side down. This you need to be very careful and take with extreme caution and light pressure, because I don't want you to hurt your joints. And then you would apply some light pressure there. This may be intense enough, or you would inhale, exhale, and then you would lean back again, and even just that much, right there. I barely moved, and I'm already feeling extreme amounts of tension in my forearm extensor muscles here. So that is a great way to relieve discomfort, inflammation, and stretch tight muscles in your forearms, flexors mostly, but also extensors. Also, carpal tunnel syndrome. The carpal tunnel is where the tendons of all of these forearm flexors run through a tiny little hole in your wrist to attach to your digits, your fingers. So that often gets swollen, and it pushes against the tunnel that runs through. These techniques can also help with a little bit of that as well. Again, not saying that I'm diagnosing you with carpal tunnel syndrome or that it will completely cure it, but it will help alleviate some of that inflammation and pressure. So I hope you guys found that video helpful. Let me know if it was. Let me know if you want some other ones or some other things you're dealing with so that we can create content for you guys, and talk to you soon. See you later.